give you a quick background if you don't mind. Again, Reggie is my name. How you doing, Dan, and everyone? Um, Thank you for allowing me to come on and all that good stuff. I'm really ecstatic about it. But my grandmother, she was a maestro. She had a 23-piece orchestra. My grandfather had a 5-piece jazz band. He played the upright. My mom plays piano. My brother plays saxophone. My grandmother preference played saxophone, but she played every instrument. With me, I grew up around the piano, my brother and I, but never really got into it. And then as I got older, I moved here to Baltimore, and my stepbrother, he was in the rock and roll, had drum set and everything. And next thing I know, I was a master at playing air guitar. you
Oh
know,
yeah, we all get
and
really
then
good at that. Yeah.
yeah. So once I became master of air guitar, eventually years later, I started buying guitars. And so the last one I bought was from a friend of mine down Eastern Shore, Samuel Pipsy. He builds them, and so I bought two of them a couple of years back. So I've been messing around with that. And far as me just playing, I really just got into really playing and loving it in the last few years or so, maybe last 10, 15 years. But I've been around music all my life. And so, so be
Well,
it.
let me do an official introduction here, folks. You're coming into the middle of a conversation here. It's me, Dan, your host here on the Living Room Guitarist. You know about the show. It's a very informal yet safe, non-judgmental place for amateur guitar players like me, maybe like you. We don't judge each other for how skilled we are on the fretboard. We just like to play. We're a community of amateur guitar players, and you may remember my premise here. It's just a community of players, amateur musicians who just hang out in our living rooms or our bedrooms, the garage, wherever we like to play. And we just like to create music, not worried about any kind of commercial value or how quote unquote good anyone thinks it is. We play just for the joy of playing and for the creative process. Our guest today is Reggie, or is it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it actually Reverend Reggie? Are you a member of the clergy?
Yeah, I'm a minister. Yes, but we consider just ministers. I don't want to get too into it, but Reverend belongs to God, but we're ministers.
I see. Okay. So I was
But
just
yeah, a lot of
wondering.
people say they call you Reverend, call me Pastor. That's all fine. I understand.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
I'm, I'm
I just
happy.
wondered if you have a congregation where you just rock up the services with your guitar playing.
Well, no, we unfortunately we don't. But we sing. We say we try to again follow scripture according to first century rules and regulations. So we just
Yeah,
sing.
you had sent me a file and you played some little riff that you had, a nice little chord progression. I thought it was so cool. I just was so looking forward to having you on the show. Are you
Great.
plugged in and ready to go, or do you need some setup time?
Yes, I'm plugged in and ready to go.
Yeah.
Um,
So
I
I'd
was
love
trying
to.
to I was trying to figure out if it was the rock and roll tune or was it the mellow groove that I did that I couldn't remember.
It was more of a kind of a nice kind of rhythm and blues, rocking up kind of tune, a nice progression
Okay.
there. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and kind of play through it once for us, and then maybe give us a
Okay.
brief tutorial and let us learn it, and we can kind of just see what we can kind of bring it into our own living rooms and get it on our fretboards and just enjoy playing it as well. So, folks,
Great.
I'm just going to zip it and let Reggie play for a bit, and I think you're really
Great.
going to love this tune.
I'm gonna do the power chords.
tune and power chords is D, which is on the fifth, using the fifth string and at the fifth fret. That's just a power chord. Three, the fourth finger, ring finger, your baby finger, and then you go down the board to the A sharp, and then you come up the board to the C, and then you go back to the D, and then you repeat that, but this time instead of going, we're gonna jump up to the G power chord. So that's the second time around. And then we'll go do it again. Then the third time around, it'll be at the F. So we go. You bounce on that, and you work your way up the board. You bounce on that, which is the G. Then you work your way up the board to the A, and you bounce on that. And then you stop on that beat, and then you do the hammer on the C, which is on the A string, but it's the C note, third fret, fifth string. And then you hammer on that F, and you get into on the D. So that's basically it. So, and then when you playing and you're jamming, why one is just standing at that D and he's just running those chords, you can go over it with solos in the D scale or G scale, and just fill in wherever you want to, and it'll all blend just right. And it's on like a 4/4 beat, 4 measure, for common measure, 4 beats, and then 4/4 rather, and then you can just, while it's open, you can do a lot of fill-ins, so that's basically about it. I had a lot of influence when I was growing up. Down Eastern Shore, my grandparents are musicians, my brother, my wife, my mom, my auntie, most of them musicians. I really didn't get into the guitar until later in the years. However, this is what I do now. It's my passion. I'm very thankful that I'm able to do this. So, I love it. In the early days when I moved to Baltimore, my stepbrother turned me on to rock and roll. It was my favorite band, Kiss. And the other band, my favorite band was Grand Funk Railroad. And so those were our favorite band, my brother and I. He was a drummer as well. He passed away. But anyway, yeah, it was a great influence, over the years for all kinds of musicians. My friend Charles was on here.
Reggie, that was so cool. Now, tell me a little bit about how this came about. Were you just kind of just riffing around one day in the living room and this sort of emerged, or was there an idea behind it?
Well, for the most part, yeah, I was sitting in my living room, sitting on the sofa, just doing in my creative process. And I said, you know what? I got some nice power chords, and I'm listening, I'm trying. And I said, oh man, they're blending. So I said, I usually take one or two chords and just try to see what they sound like. And if they go together, like when we're doing a circular fifth, you see what chords go with what chord. So they blend, they fit. So I said, okay, now I need to arrange them in a proper fashion where it means something. So when I put a little 4-time beat to it, just a common beat, 4 beat, four measure, 4/4. But anyway, so it's a nice power chord, and it's real open where you can fill in. So if I was just playing just the open chords, you come up with a scale out of the D chord or out of the G chord, and you just play, run it however you want to do it, just because it's going to blend right in. And all I have to do is maintain those chords, and you just go crazy in the D scale and just do your thing.
Oh yeah, so someone wanted to create a solo over the top of that. They've
Yes,
got it there. But I think
great.
I'm so glad you shared that. That's a really cool riff. It's just perfect for this show, and I'm so grateful that you came on board here. And folks, listen, if you want
Thank
to be
you.
part of the show, absolutely. If you can be a guest like Reggie and some of the other great folks we've had here. Contact me anytime. It's livingroomguitarist@gmail.com. Love to bring you in here and celebrate your guitar journey. Learn from you, share things back and forth, develop our ideas
Yes.
together. Again, not trying to impress anybody, just having fun playing guitar.
Yes, that's right. Love
All
it.
right.
Thank you. Thank you
Reggie,
so
thanks
much
for
for the
joining us.
creative process.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next time here on the Living Room Guitarist.
Yes.